Good morning. You're watching Much Ado About Something today, and I'm Donna, and I'm glad that you're here. You're in the right place. If you're interested in lifestyle, budget-friendly home and garden, well, it's finally hit me. It's hit me. I've been trying to stave it off. I've been trying to keep it from coming on, but it's hit full blown today, and that's the desire, the need, the anticipation of gardening. I cannot manage it. I have just been so full of ideas and so full of just wanting to immerse myself in everything gardening. I've been watching some gardening YouTube videos. I've been researching through some of my gardening notes that I made on my own gardens the last few years. And I've been going through gardening books that I like and the seed catalogs, the endless seed catalogs with all the wonderful possibilities. I've been enjoying them all, looking through it, and it's just been exciting. I'm in here making a cup of tea. I hadn't had tea. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm going to boil a pot of water and make tea. Today's tea is going to be mullein tea from mullein that we picked and dehydrated, Donald and I. And I'm going to add some of this Clean Beauty. It's berry aloe tea, skin reviving. And then on the back, we'll see all about it here. It's buckthorn berry. Sorry about that. I had to cough and didn't want to cough in your ear. It's sea buckthorn berry, supplies beta carotene and used for over 1,000 years for anti-aging. Aloe vera. This cleansing plant was used by Egyptian queens as part of their beauty regime. Hibiscus, one of the best hydrators nature has to offer. Rose hip. Studies have shown anti-aging properties for skin. And milk thistle, used for detoxing since 40 AD. And of course it goes on to tell you a little bit more about it. I just want to drink it for the aloe vera mainly and the hibiscus flower. You know, I'm going to age. I'm not worried about the beautification of it all. I just love some of the benefits, especially I think mainly for the milk thistle. I love milk thistle. I need to harvest my own this year. I'm just going to add one of these tea bags here and get this tea started. That'll be my second cup of tea today. I did drink coffee with Donald this morning, and so this is a refreshing tea for the middle of the day here before I get supper started. But I'm going to drink out of this little snowman cup. I've had it for a couple of years now. I think it's probably, I don't know where it's from. I think that's from the Dollar Tree. So there you go. But it seemed appropriate today since we still have snow on the ground. It's warmed up. You can still see the snow across there at the neighbors. Anywhere it's shady, there's still piles of snow. And they're calling for more winter weather this weekend, for a couple of days this weekend. So there's a lot of things going on. It's still cold and snowy, so it's that kind of a day. I've got one of my catalogs out here, and I'm just going through here seeing what I want to grow. I just go page by page, and I look all the way through this thing. And I'm looking forward to finding beautiful things to add to the garden. I've got my list going. I always do an initial list on notebook paper. There's an order form in here, and you can call an order. But I do an initial list, kind of. I'll just write down everything that I see that I love. Well, you know, I've got a very small garden, very small yard. We garden in the front where we can. We garden in the backyard. But it's a small area. We're on between 1/4 and 1/3 of an acre in the city, a little city, not big, near the foot of the mountains. And so we are here on this little lot, and we have to grow. But we've been here for quite a while, and we have had a garden every year. Well, last year's garden was kind of a bust. I'm hoping to do better this year, and I'm making some plans as I go along to make it a better year. I'm committed to doing some things different so that things will turn out better. But I thought I'd just have a cup of tea and come back in here and get with my catalog to continue picking out what I think I can use in my garden this year. Now, I already have a seed collection. I've probably shared it with you every year since I've started a YouTube video channel, probably about 3 years or maybe 4 years. I have really shared my gardening with you And, you know, it's slim pickings. There's not a lot to be done right now with there's snow on the ground. I mean, it's hard to even get where you need to go, more or less, try to go pick up anything that needs to go in a garden. So I don't do a lot. Fall cleanup was minimal this year. We did not get out there and clean our garden like we normally did, and that's okay because, you know, you can do that before the beginning of the year also. But that's one more thing we got to add to the list that we didn't do last year. We got to work on this year. So I got a plan on all of that, and it's so exciting. What a pleasure to get to plan a little garden, even if it is small. If you've got a small area, a small yard, small lot, no matter what you have, you can grow. You can grow things. It's amazing how much you can grow from a small garden. And then there's the little pots that you can put around outside. You can grow things in pots. You don't have to water them more because the pots require every day, sometimes twice a day watering. So it's a little more labor intensive to grow a small garden on a patio or on a balcony. But you can do it. You can grow things anywhere you want to grow things. You know, when it comes to thinking about, well, where can I put all this stuff? It's exciting to think about, you know, I could fit this in here or I could fit that in there. Now, I've got big gardening plans. It's like a buffet. Whenever I go to a buffet, my eyes always get bigger than my stomach. I always pick and choose more things than I've got space to grow. Well, the teapot's whistling. It's good and ready. Time to make the tea. Let me go ahead and get this infusing. Everything I've got on this side of the refrigerator here takes a beating whenever this teapot whistles. It just showers it with steam. Well, let's get back to the gardening plan or the gardening dilemma. Yeah, it's like a buffet. When I start looking at the seeds or start looking at the plants or start planting, it's like a huge buffet. I'm like, wow, you know, this, that. Well, I've got to limit it. I don't have enough space for everything that I want to grow. I don't think I'll ever have. If I had 10 acres, if I had more, I would just grow more and more and more. You know, physically, there's only so much we can do. There's only so much in a time of day that I can donate to gardening. So I've got to kind of reel it in a little bit. I've got to get myself kind of within my guidelines, within my realistic boundaries of what I can and I can't grow. We've grown a lot here. Me and Donald has grown more than 300 pounds of produce a year on this little lot. We've done a lot to try to enrich it and to keep it healthy and to keep it growing. A couple of years back, we went to the no-till method. We went to the just where we compost and add compost and grow things that way, and it's been one of the best gardens we've ever had. I don't regret that. The no-till, no-dig method, and I looked at Charles Dowding's book on that, and it's been excellent for us. It's been the right choice. You can grow in raised beds. We've got 2 little garden areas out there. And believe it or not, I had just a small patch of lemon balm. Just a small patch of it. I don't remember doing that. Okay, we're going to run out here and feed the animals real quick while, you know, it's warm. While it's warm out here.
Into the playroom and the yellow apple. I think it was at the.
Yeah. Stormy's going to give them a little apple treat, and we are going to just fill up their water.
Hey.
Of course, everything freezes. So we try to wait till it warms up, till it's the evening, the afternoon. Hey, Cinnamon. Hey, buddy. He's waiting for his apple.
Okay, 1 second. Hey, Cinnamon. You want your apple?
You just stick it in their holes.
Oh, yeah. You love your waffle.
Well, here's what I wanted to share with you out in this garden. This is the small garden. We usually plant this and just let the kids plant what they want to, and we let them pick it when the things are ripe. Now this is lemon balm. This lemon balm is covering the whole garden. There's some dead nettle in here too. Dead nettle and lemon balm. We've got both of them in here. Now lemon balm doesn't surprise me that it spreads like this because it is in the mint family. But it's taken over this whole little garden. And of course we'll have to gently dig each one of these up by hand because we've got a no-dig system here. So we're not trying to disturb the microbes in the soil. And this is the vegetable garden where we grow our tomatoes, our cucumbers, our squash, and the things that we eat a lot out of our little garden. This is our little garden. The cucumbers usually go up this trellis. We didn't even take down the tomatoes. I mean, look at this mess. We still had all the dried tomatoes here. We didn't even get out here and get them pulled up. So, this is my little granddaughter's black-eyed Susan vine. My goodness. There's the seeds all over this. She would be tickled to death. We're going to have to come out here and collect seeds so that she'll have plenty of seeds to plant next year. Of course, it'll come back right here where it's at. It usually just covers the fence. I've got Doc in this container right here outside the garden. Some things right here I plant sometimes along here. I've got to replace this. This is shattered. It's dilapidated. It's ready to get it out and throw it away. I could plant it permanently out here, and I might just go ahead and do that. But along this outer edge, I try to go ahead and plant herbs that I use a lot or that I want to harvest. We've got the elderberry bushes. They're here. Just very thick. Donald will trim these up a little bit before the end of winter. So when it's spring and they're ready to bust out, they'll be able to do that. We've got these elderberries here. We've got another stand of elderberries right over here. And then we've got one in the front yard. They've decided that they're going to jump on the trampoline for a little bit. It is sunny out there, but it's cold. It's really cold, even though the sun's shining. You know, it's winter. It's January. It's been chilly today. Well, they're going to play for just a little bit and get some vitamin D and get out and get some of their energy out, and that'll help me out a little bit. And I am going to be right here at the back door listening to them because that's what I do. I always keep an eye on them and make sure that they're okay. I'm in here waiting for my tea to get all steeped. It looking good. It looks like it's ready. I think I'm going to try not to add any honey or anything to it today, any sweetener. Just going to drink it plain. We'll see how it tastes. This right here's got some berries in it, so I hope it's good. Hope it makes it good enough. The mullein on its own is not all that great. Kind of tastes like a raw vegetable, but it's got great benefits. I still have the lingering effects of whatever it was I had in December. I've had it for about 3 weeks, but that's not too bad because a lot of people's had it for a lot longer. So I still think my elderberry's shortening it. I still think drinking the elderberry every day is strengthening my immune system. Which if you watch my channel, then you know I make elderberry syrup and we drink it every day. Donald and I drink an ounce or two every day, sometimes more. We just drink it. It's delicious. You know, elderberries are high in vitamin C. It's a good way to get vitamin C and a good way to stimulate your immune system. If you ever want to know about elderberries, just look up the black elderberry and see all the wonderful benefits. We take about an ounce every day. Here's my little cup. Here's Donald's little cup that stays on the sink. And we just drink our elderberry syrup every day. I'm just glad that I've got it. Glad that I know that it works. And wonder how long I would have the sickness if it wasn't for this elderberry syrup. I'm sure it's cutting it down. I hope the tea helps somehow today too. It certainly tastes good and feels good. On my throat And I'm moving on with the rest of my day. I am going over and remembering all of the plans that I made to move this, to move that. And when spring gets here, I'll have to start really early if I'm really going to move all this stuff, because that'll be the best time for me to move it, is before things heat up too much. There's some passion flower vines that I wanted to move. There's some just different things that I wanted to try to put them in better locations, change some things around. And there's new things that I want to grow this year, and I'll share all of that with you in a different video. All the seeds that I chose and all of the new plants that I'm planning to add, which is not too many. You know, I'm at a point where my space is a premium. I have to be really choosy about what I'm going to put and where I'm going to put it. And so I'll share all that with you when I do the seed, when I get my seed haul in, and why I chose what I chose and what I'm going to do with it. If you're interested in that, that'll be coming up. But today I'm just looking through this catalog and other catalogs. You know, there's more catalogs, Johnny's Seeds, and just many, many other ones. And I'm just going to go through all this and pick out what it is, you know. And when you look at all this good stuff, goodness gracious, it makes you want to grow everything. You know, I grow not only vegetables to eat, we not only grow vegetables that we like to eat, fruits, whatever we can grow when we can grow it. We also grow things for our herbal apothecary and for our teas. I make my own teas, my own herbal infusions, which we'll call tea just because that's what everybody recognizes it as. And I grow many, many things to go in that. And so I just want to make sure I've got enough for what I plan for the whole year. And that's what I'm doing at this time of the year. I'm kind of evaluating what do I need out there and what do I not need. Now, I do need some calendula. I make salve out of calendula. I make tea out of it. There's several things I do with calendula. And so I do need some. I think I have this mix right here, which seems to be the most popular mix. And you know, they don't have to be beautiful. They can just be effective. You know, I harvest these after the season. I let them dry. I dry the petals, and then I use those petals to make an oil infusion, which I then make into salve, and then use the petals also to make tea infusions. So I was looking through that, and of course I've listed 3 of them here, but I won't get all 3. There's 2 that are mixed and 1 that is orange. I don't know if you remember in my garden videos where I had all those orange zinnias that year. And I thought, what made me decide on just growing orange zinnias? But that was one of the most beautiful years when it came fall. When it came fall, those orange zinnias, it's like they lit up, and added a few orange pumpkins and different things to the porch, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I've never forgotten that. So I may recreate that in some way, shape, or form. Might not just be orange zinnias, it might be other plants. I want to not only think about summer when everything's growing, I also want to think about the fall and the year, what I'm going to need for the year, what herbs I'm going to need, you know, and how the plants are going to look later on. I hope to be much more active in the garden than I was last year. I hope to not get as frustrated with the garden as I did. Now, midway and at the end of the gardening season, as much as I love to garden, and I know there are good years and bad years, I was really frustrated with last year's garden. You know, it was just one of those, it was labor intensive, worked really hard, didn't get much out of it. I'm hoping this year that everything we did last year to help that will be a great kickoff starter to this season. So we'll just have to see how it all works out. We'll just have to see. Each year's kind of different. Some years are really, really prolific, really, really great, get a lot out of it. I'm canning left and right every few days. And then some years are I barely scrape together enough to mix it all together and make a salsa or a chow chow or end of garden relish. You know, it's just like I'm out there just struggling. As I go along and share and plant the garden, I'll share with you why I grow some things and I don't grow other things. You know, we are here where we can get a lot of produce. You know, it's a good state for us to be able to buy some things from local farmers, which has been one of my goals this year, is to buy local. I'm going to buy as much food local as I possibly can, and I'm looking forward to that because there's a lot of good food grown in our area, and if I don't have room to grow it, there are farmers that do, and so I'm just going to try to bless them and try to go ahead and buy as locally as I can for whatever I need, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to try to grow what I can, buy locally from farmers what I can't, and then we're just going to go on from there. I am in here in the process. I was just so excited I had to make a video because I know there's many other gardeners out there right now that are starting to get excited. Adrenaline's starting to pump a little bit when they see the gardening things, and that's always good. That's always a good thing if you're a gardener, to look forward to the next season, and so that's what I'm doing. Trying to move on and make the plans to use my space the best that I possibly can. And we love our house, we love our gardens, and we're thankful. And we try to be thankful and satisfied. We don't compare ourselves to anybody. And if we found something that helps us, we try to share it with you so that hopefully it'll help you. Now, we started our little garden bed out there you saw where I hadn't even taken down the dried tomatoes. We started that with composted wood chips. We had a big maple tree cut down back there, and we didn't have the wood or the chips hauled away, which normally you do, but it was going to save us like $400. But we were thinking, that's not only $400 that we saved by keeping the wood ourselves. We also stacked the wood and used it for our outdoor fire pit. The kids, they love to sit around a fire pit in the spring and in the summer and in the fall. So we go out there, they tell spooky stories sometimes, and we just sit around the fire pit and enjoy our dinner, our supper sometimes. And so we used that wood, and it took a few years to burn that big maple tree up. But we also had what they had already chipped up. They had chipped up the small branches and everything, and it was out there, and it decomposed for about 4 years. It sat out there till they were just decomposed. I mean, half of it turned into soil. And we went ahead and started our no-dig, no-till garden with those wooden chips. You may, I've already saw that in one of my gardening videos, one of my earlier videos. I shared that with you. You may have already heard that story and know that we started with those wood chips. And that's how we defined our bed out there, and we got it started. And so we have added compost every year. Donald and I have 2 compost bins. We have a small one, and we have one that we call the green compost. It is where we put green things. I've gave you a tour of both of those compost areas. Now those everything that's green goes on the short side of the fence, and we just pile it up right there, and as it breaks down, we chop it up, and when it turns completely black, we move it over to the right hand side, and that compost means it has decomposed to a stage where it's ready to use on our gardens. So we've got that little area where we already have compost, and we can put out on the front garden, and we can put it on the back gardens, and that just helps us out. And we have our kitchen compost, which we just put scraps in. What the chickens don't get, that compost bin gets, and that helps us out later in the garden. It's rich and good, and we've got some good things in there that break down, good insects and different, that's just a wonderful microbe area for breaking down the soil. And when that compost bin gets full, we just pick that whole bin up and move it right beside of the area, and then we start chopping that up, and when it decomposes enough, we'll put it out on the garden. And it's probably a year or more that it takes that kitchen compost to decompose enough to put out on the garden. And that's okay, because it's an ongoing thing. That means there's some there every year to add to the garden. That helps us with our no-dig, no-till garden and using that compost. So that's what we do. We just use what we have here, and we've got our own little system here, and it usually provides a lot of produce. Well, we're going to be thinking about what's going to go in our garden. There are certain things that we grow every year, No question about it. We're going to grow tomatoes. Donald loves tomatoes. His family loves tomatoes, and we've got to have plenty of tomatoes. I mean, we'll eat them. We'll make sandwiches with them. Donald will put a tomato on the side of every supper dish he eats. And, you know, there's different recipes that we make with the tomatoes. So we'll definitely plant plenty of tomatoes. We'll also plant cucumbers, and we'll plant squash. And those are the three things that we always, without fail, will plant every year. We don't plant green beans because we can buy those locally. There's a lot of local growers that sell green beans by the bushel. And me and Donald's figured it out. And you know what? It's more cost effective for us just to go buy those by the bushel. In most cases, those beans have been picked that morning. So we're still getting the fresh value and the quality. We just have to pay. And that's okay because those farmers are worth their hire. We definitely will pay for what they raise because they have the area and the bigger space to grow those green beans. And, you know, we can plan how many bushels we're going to buy. And that's what we'll do. We'll just can the green beans according to what we buy and what we need. Now, we love the cucumbers. We make cucumber sandwiches. We eat those fresh. I make fresh refrigerator pickles. And then if we have plenty, then I'll make a pickle or a relish. And that we eat. We love pickles and relishes, homemade. We love the good old vinegary taste in pickles that you made back in the old days that our grandmas made. They're not highly palatable to everybody, I don't think, but they're delicious to us. And we still love those. We still make those old home recipes. Donald's grandpa used to tell him every time we would go down there and he'd ask Donald what we were doing. Donald said, we've been harvesting cucumbers. We're going to make pickles. He would tell us the story about the old general store that had the two big barrels out on front. One was for pickles and one was for sauerkraut. You bring your own container and you go in and you pay 5 cents or 10 cents for a pickle or a bowl of sauerkraut, and you go out there. They would dip you out some sauerkraut into your bowl, or they'd give you a pickle, whatever you bought. Whatever you purchased, you would get. But Donald's grandpa loved to tell Donald that story of him going and buying the pickles and going and buying the bowl of sauerkraut. What a treat it was, he said. It was delicious. And it stayed out there all year. It was out there in the summer, and it was out there in the winter. In the winter, it might stop its fermenting process, but by then it had already fermented anyway, and they might have to go out there and break a little layer of ice off and get you some sauerkraut. But that was huge, big 55-gallon barrels that they would go out there and get their sauerkraut and their pickles out of. Isn't that amazing? And I guess that's why some of the pickle companies make their jars look like a barrel, because it's a throwback to those days when people ate them off the porch like that, or ate them off of the... Sometimes they were even in the store. But they usually put them outside because if they're in the store, they have a tendency to ferment faster, because you had the wood stove and all that stuff going on in there. But it is an interesting story, and we used to love to hear him tell us about it every time we went down there. He would tell us about it. Well, I'm going to go and finish looking through these catalogs. Thank you for joining me today, and let me share with you how excited I was getting about our garden this year. I mean, it hit me today just out of nowhere. Boom, there it was. I was ready to garden. I was ready to plan, ready to go ahead and decide what I'm going to put in there, put out there in those gardens. I had all these ideas that were just flooding, and thinking about all of the work. It's going to be a tremendous amount of work to do all the things that's planned, and of course we never get it all done. So we're just going to get a few things done and be happy with that. I've still got the passion flower juice from all the passion fruits I harvested last year. I've still got that juice down there in the freezer, and I'm going to have to get that out one day and make some passion flower jelly. I like to go ahead and make jellies and things in the winter when it's colder and the heat from the stove and the canners and everything can help heat up the house. It just feels a lot more efficient to me. So I'll be doing some canning things, and if I get to that, I'll bring you along with me. Thank you for joining me today, and like always, until next time.